Last month, I reviewed a movie called The Batman, and today I'm sitting here reviewing a movie about a Batman. Literally. Hey there guys, my name is Tom, welcome back to my movie channel, and thank you very much for joining me for this, my review of the brand new Sony Marvel movie, Morbius. If you guys haven't been here before, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that notifications bell so that you never miss out on my take on all things movies. So Morbius stars Jared Leto as the titular character. He is Dr. Michael Morbius. He is trying to find a cure for his disease and ends up turning himself into a literal Batman. This is of course part of the Sony Venom Spideyverse, whatever it's going to be. And this movie was getting a lot of, let's say, negative reaction from those who were fortunate enough to see this movie early and give their reactions to the movie. And I saw pretty much an overwhelmingly negative response. People saying it didn't make much sense and they cut out, there were reports going around that they cut out all the stuff that was in the trailers. Any remote connection to the wider Sony Spider-Man universe was cut out of the movie, and the post-credit scenes make no sense. Well, I'm here to tell you, I saw Morbius tonight. I watched those post-credit scenes, and I have to be straight up honest. I like this movie. I don't think this is the greatest movie ever made. I don't think it's a top 10 comic book movie of all time. I don't even think it's better than a film like Venom Let There Be Carnage, which I loved, by the way, and it's certainly not better than Spider-Man No Way Home. But did I have a good time watching Morbius? I did. I enjoyed this movie. What I liked about it the most was, I like Jared Leto, first of all. I think he's a great actor. And I think he's just, been unfortunate in some of the roles that he's been given. I mean, I even like his iteration of Joker, as batshit crazy as it was, pun not intended. But I like him in this role, and what excites me the most about this movie and the existence of this movie is being able to see this character potentially interact with a Tom Hardy's Venom, or a Tom Holland Spider-Man, or the upcoming Kraven the Hunter movie. However Sony's going to tie their universe together, that is one thing I'm looking forward to. But Jared Leto as Michael Morbius and as this creature, I enjoyed his performance in the film. I thought it was great. I really like his character, and I really like, even before he turns into the creature, the bat creature, Morbius, whatever you want to call it, before he turns into that, I even enjoyed that portion of the movie, in the whole build up to that, and him trying to discover a cure for his disease and his friend's disease, his friend played by Matt Smith in the movie. So even before he turns into this creature of the night that just, has to live on, human blood. So even before any of the blood-sucking madness happens, I was already into this movie. And then when the blood-sucking madness happens, it's very entertaining. Is there a CGI that's questionable? Yes. There are some really bizarre editing choices in this movie, not the least of which was some extremely obvious moments. And it's only in moments. It's not like a massive element component to the film. But in moments, there's some very obvious ADR where someone will say something, their mouth will say one thing, but their voice will say another. And that's not a superhero power in this movie either. That's just they decided to change a couple of words of the line, but they didn't go back and reshoot that actor saying that line, so they just dubbed over the voice. It's quite obvious in a couple of scenes, and it is a little distracting for a moment here or there. But I don't really have a major issue with this movie. I don't have any real major flaws with this film. I actually really enjoyed myself watching the movie. Matt Smith, who, obviously he was Doctor Who, and he's been in a couple of things, most recently in Last Night in Soho, which I didn't love. But he was great in it. And in this movie, he plays frenemies with Michael Morbius, let's just say that. They're sort of frenemies. And I really enjoyed their chemistry with each other and the way that relationship built and the way that relationship ends up falling apart ultimately. I really enjoyed that element of the film as well. But there are scenes in this movie where Matt Smith feels like he's acting in a different movie. The tone didn't quite match up for the character he was playing versus what the movie actually is. But overall, I enjoyed myself watching Morbius. I think this is a solid, good movie. I don't think it's a great movie. I don't think it's going to win any Academy Awards. I don't think it's worth getting slapped in the face over, wink wink, but I enjoyed myself watching the movie. I thought it was a solid film. When they do the second Morbius movie, I'll be there opening day. I'm looking forward to that for sure. Now, Let me just talk about the post-credit scenes here for a second, and I am going to spoil the post-credit scenes. So if you don't want to know what the post-credit scenes are, even though the director himself has already openly been talking about it on Twitter, but if you don't want to know what the post-credit scenes are, this is your point to check out. Overall, I enjoyed Morbius. There's my review. But I wanted to talk about the post-credit scenes because it's important. So the first post-credit scene, it's not really post-credit, they're both kind of mid-credits. You have Michael Keaton's Adrian Toomes. First of all, you see the purple rift, multiverse rift in the sky that you saw at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home when all the villains were about to come through, when Doctor Strange is trying to contain that spell. So you see that happen. And then you see Adrian Toomes, played by Michael Keaton, Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming, magically appear in a cell that is not his in the Morbius Venom universe. And then they discover that he's not actually supposed to be here, and so they let him go. Then the second credit scene happens, and Jared Leto, Michael Morbius, is standing in a field somewhere, and Adrian Toomes, Vulture, in the full Vulture outfit that he was wearing in Spider-Man No Way Home, flies into frame. And then he has a conversation with Morbius, and he says, listen, I don't know what I'm doing here. It has something to do with Spider-Man. Why don't we team up? That's basically what happens. And then the rest of the credits happen. Does the credit scene where Vulture appears in the cell magically from the rift make much sense? No. And that's the major complaint I've been seeing from people who have seen the movie and, but here's the thing. The spell in No Way Home didn't make much damn sense either. So, there are flaws in No Way Home. There are flaws, logic holes with the magic spell. And if the magic spell can bring into the MCU Tom Hardy's Venom, who didn't know who Spider-Man was, if it can bring in, Electro, Jamie Foxx, who in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, by the way, doesn't know who Peter Parker is, doesn't know Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So, that didn't make much sense in No Way Home, and No Way Home was still great. And we sort of overlooked them because No Way Home was an entertaining film. I'm choosing to overlook the logic holes in these post-credits scenes in Morbius because I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Michael Keaton as Vulture in this universe. And listen, Sony has to bring all these characters home eventually. They have to bring them all under one roof. Eventually, we are going to see, I think anyway, we are going to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man show up in the Morbius universe. If not, we're going to see Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire. We are going to see a Spider-Man that we've probably already met show up in this Morbius Venom Sony universe because Sony is going to want to bring everything back over to their universe. They're not going to want to play in the MCU forever, even though it's working out great for them. They're going to want to, bring everything home. And I don't think Disney or Marvel want to be co-producing with Sony and letting Sony take a big portion of those profits forever. Studios are greedy. They want to, make all the money they can for themselves, and they don't like sharing it. So anyway, that is my general thoughts on the post-credit scenes. I don't care that they don't make much sense. The spell in No Way Home didn't make any sense, and we all love it anyway. So anyway, guys, that will do it for this review of Morbius. Thank you very much for watching. What did you think of Morbius? Have you seen it yet? Whatever you think about the movie, make sure you jump down in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching, guys. My name is Tom, and I will see you guys next time.